All right, guys, I'm happy to share with you another release from Borealis. Carlos over there, him and I have kind of become friends over the last couple of years, so we'll share some information. He'll usually give me heads up of things coming out. And when he told me about this Olisipo model that is, he was working on, I got excited early on. And of course, he said there was going to be an orange dial, and the orange on this is just amazing. There's a few other colors as well, but I think a lot of people are going to be excited about the case size on this and the overall shape and everything like that. So it's in pre-order right now. We are basically, this is the last day of October. So we are November of 2019. They are anticipating the delivery time around May of 2020, barring any, holdups or snags or anything like that with production. Can happen, but they're usually pretty good about at least keeping everybody informed. But they usually are pretty good with their lead times and everything as far as actually coming through with them. So let's cover the case size real quick. This is a prototype, by the way. So Carlos is awesome enough to send me over the stuff like early on. So a real 40 millimeter case, very slender, 46.9 millimeter lug to lug, drilled lugs, excellent case profile there. You can see nice and slim. Actually, it's only 12 millimeter thick, including the flat sapphire crystal that's on this guy. Screw down signed crown. And, you're going to have the ceramic bezel insert. It's all going to be loomed, all that good stuff. 20 millimeter lug width. This president style bracelet does taper down to an 18 mil. And then you have a milled center part of the clasp with a stamped part here and the fold over, which you guys know I'm kind of a fan of. Actually, it keeps them nice and thin. You have the 4 micro adjusts, and it keeps the cost down on some of these, because doing bracelets on micros seems to be somewhat challenging to do them, good and still keep them priced good. So you can see this one has solid end links, and they articulate over instantly, so you're going to have instant comfort on this guy too. So if you see any weird things with it, it's a prototype, guys. Things are going to be buttoned up and much tighter in the production. So 120 click bezel. It's pretty stiff, definitely clicky, but there's plenty of traction on here with the grooves, or in the knife world, I think we call it jimping or whatever. I don't know what we call it on these bezels, but so actually, even for a prototype, this thing lines up pretty good. So this does house the Miyota 9015 movement, so you're going to get the hack and the wind. Nice pop on the crown. Yeah, I know I'm being a crown geek now. So decent wind on it here, and then of course you're going to be able to hack and set your time and all that good stuff. So we'll spin it around 1 hour, even though I think this weekend I actually have to set the time back if you're in the daylight savings time. So there is a date and a no date option. You can see on this dial here, they're all going to have that kind of, I don't know what to call it, scalped, or I don't know what we're going to call it for that dial. You guys help me out. What are we calling that? But there's a black dial, there's a white dial, a royal blue dial, a green dial, and then they label it as a teal blue, but if you look at the pictures, it almost looks like a powder blue, and then this orange dial. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of this orange. I think you nailed the color. Carlos, if you're watching this, don't change the tone of orange. The orange on this was perfect. You have, they almost look black. It's hard to tell. But then when you get them in certain lights like that, they look polished. So interesting handset and applied indices around there. He went with a really good, strong application of BGW9, but you can see all the hands and the indices are rather thin, so there's not an insane amount of real estate there for the loom, but there's definitely going to be some good loom on this guy. So it almost looks like there's a silver date wheel on that too. It's hard to tell. I probably need better reading glasses or something. That's probably just a white date wheel. Sometimes I get like reflective surfaces on certain things. And I'm not sure if that bezel insert's ceramic either. It almost has some graining to it. So check the link in the description. I just got this in and I just kind of breezed through it real quick. So I might have misspoke on a couple of things. So if I did, I apologize. But like I said, I just want to get this out there right now because it's on pre-order. So what you do is you put 50% down. There it is on my 7 1/4 wrist. Fits perfect, wears great. I think 40 is such a sweet spot for a lot of people, and then keeping that lug to lug at around 47 mil. So the pre-order is $195 at 50. That's 50% down. So once they're completed, in the spring, May or whatever, early spring, they'll prompt you to finish paying the other $195, and then they ship it out. So all in, you're under $400, and you have a killer package here. So something to consider, guys, for sure. Give a click to the link and see if there's a colorway there that you like, and jump in. I know some people love it, some people hate it, the way that certain micro brands do the pre-order thing. I'm actually personally kind of a fan of it because I can almost always afford $195 right now, and I'll be able to afford $195 later because I'm committed to it. But I think it's a nice way to purchase for me. But I know some people would rather just have it in inventory. But this is the way they do it, guys. And if you don't get on board with it, then you basically got to wait for the secondary market. So same thing with some of the previous Borealis that I've had on, like this Adraga and then the bronze Adraga and stuff like that. They come on market and poof, they're gone. They sell out. So this is definitely going to be a home run for those guys over at Borealis. And again, big thanks to Carlos for sending it in. And I better give you a loom shot before I forget. Like I said, you can see it's all loomed out. It's a nice application of BGW9. It's a really nice blue color. But everything's a little bit thinner here on this, so you don't have like huge, massive real estate. So the other thing I'm going to do for you guys real quick, because I know a lot of people like this, I almost forgot, is I'll give you a side-by-side with the SKX so you can see size-wise. So if the SKX is a little big on your wrist, I think this Borealis is definitely going to look smaller and fit a little bit better on your wrist. It's a little bit smaller watch at 40 mil, so it's a really good size diver. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next vid.